Sam Dunning can handle a chainsaw better than anyone I've ever seen. He has won numerous awards all over the country with his speed and detail he carves into his projects. You aren't going to believe it as he takes a block of wood and in a few minutes a bear takes form.
People like the idea that this is done with a saw. Playing in the woods, cutting my own firewood, and I hate cutting firewood, so I got bored and just started playing with it. Started finding stuff on the internet. There were competitions you could go to. So we loaded in a truck one time and went and tried it. And it kind of built off itself from there. I think the first piece I ever did was just off in the woods. It was a stump that was at where we used to live. And if it's still there, I'm sure it's in very rough shape. We went to a benefit, my wife and I. Actually it was a competition, but the proceeds benefited a carver that was really ill. And so we just hopped in the truck, took off and went and did it. And while we were there, we sold some of the things we took. And actually we just couldn't believe, and actually going back and looking at pictures of stuff that I did then, I for sure can't believe people bought it. But they seem to really enjoy it. Growing up, my dad, he kids me because he never let me use a chainsaw on the farm. When I moved away is the first time I ever even pulled a rope on a saw. People ask me that what did you do with your first pieces? And most of them still ended up as firewood early on. Although one of the carvers told me, one of the guys I met at one of the competitions, he said, your first piece always goes to your mom. You know, and she'll think it's great forever, and that's pretty much, that may be true. She still has what is supposed to be an indent head sitting in her living room, and she won't get rid of it. And it is it's very, very rough looking. But yeah, I made a lot of stuff that just wasn't much count. People ask me a lot, does the wood tell you what it wants? It tells me a little of where it wants to go, but you decide early on. Most wood has unless it has a protrusion sticking out or something that gives you an idea. You start with an idea of where you want to go. Nothing exact, because you could get halfway in and the wood, you find a rotten, you have to change your plan a little bit, but it's, if somebody calls and tells me, I want, and they'll name what they want, maybe send me a picture. I mean, the wood doesn't really, dictate that. Impatience. You've got hand carvers who can sit for hours and just go at it, and maybe they'll stop and talk. I'm kind of a higher energy person, and I like to move. And not only that, but say I start in a piece, sometimes I'll start and I've got an idea where I want to go, and after the first cut, you see something different. It looks, you think, and so with a saw, you can change quick. You can change your plan real quick, and while it's still in your head, you can go ahead and do it. Whereas, hand carving, I think you pretty much have to. Actually, most hand carvers I ever saw too they draw on the wood and get it real precise. And I'm not a real detailed person, and I'm not real patient in all areas. I try to be patient with my kids and my wife, but as far as doing jobs, I'm not real patient. There are a lot of festivals that hire me to come in and carve, demonstrate for a crowd, and you get a lot of people asking, I've been looking for, can you do me a horse bench? Can you do me? I want a saddle on this end. I want a horse head on that end. Can you do me a goofy looking dog with some raccoons? You know, you get that a lot. So that's where you get it, is at festivals a lot of times. Usually when you go to a competition, it's timed. They'll give you 2 days, you know, maybe 6 hours a day to work on them. And at the end, they'll sell them and it goes to charity. And some of those, I don't know that I'd want them back, but yeah, I'd like to have them sitting on my porch, actually. Some of them, it would be kind of nice. Do I consider myself an artist? No, I really would. I would compare what I do. It's more like hauling hay. You see me do it, and, you know, you get hot and sweaty and sticky, and it's heavy work. I don't know that, you know, just anybody could do it. I think you could teach somebody, like you could teach somebody to build a cabinet. I think you could teach them how to do certain things. You couldn't teach them everything, you know. Some of it's got to be you see, but I'm not a great drawer. I can draw, so you know, an artist, probably not.